Please help me out by pressing the thumbs up button, subscribing, sharing, commenting. I appreciate the dialogue. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, everyone, for your support. If you can please help out the channel, if you go on Amazon a lot and you make a lot of purchases, it does help me out when you use our affiliate links that are on my webpage of crimebullet.com. www.crimebullet.com. I have a special section on there for product reviews. When you click on one of those links, they're affiliate links, and you get led to different products that I have actually used in the past. And with those products, those purchases of the products, I do get a small share of revenue. It helps out the channel. If you don't want to do it, if you don't want to use my affiliate links, or you think it sounds too gimmicky, that's fine. Just one of the ways that I would like to monetize the channel. Anyhow, in today we're going to be talking about high opinion, low output individuals. Last night, I was dealing with a lot of high opinion, low input individuals, like a lot. And then towards the end, if we have time, I'll give you some tips on dealing with critical incidents if you are in charge of a lot of people. Just something that I learned, I don't want to say through the ropes, but something that I learned based on experience from yesterday. And I can't go into too much on what happened last night. But something critically did happen. Anyhow, it doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter if you are in private security. It doesn't matter your law enforcement, corrections, you're a deputy sheriff, in between, whatnot. There's always individuals around the workplace that have a lot of commentary, they have opinions, yet they are very low output individuals. I think after we have this discussion, you guys are going to start noticing these people in the workplace. And my whole objective is not just to point them out, it's to give you some solutions on how to deal with these people. For example, you might have somebody at your workplace that might come off as like an expert on guns, right? They talk about their 45 caliber pistol is the best thing in the world. The 45 caliber bullet, the best bullet in the world. Their Glock, 21 is the best, or the Glock 22 is the best. But they come off as an expert, and a lot of people in your workforce, they might listen to them because they don't know better. A lot of these so-called experts feed off of those who don't really know better. And what you want to do is, like, for somebody like that is, like, I don't just call them out and just, hey, dude, you're full of great route. I guess the more polite route, I will ask them to show me something. So if they keep blabbing away in front of everybody, just like they just don't shut up, right? Bragging about their experiences, I put them to the test. And let's say, for example, if they keep giving CQB techniques, if, for example, you're working graveyard shift, on your break, right? On your break, because I have security managers here. On your break, you're on a break with another security individual, which I know it's like rare, like 2 security officers at once on a break. And you're critiquing like a YouTube video on CQB tactics. And this guy keeps like commenting every single time and giving his own tips, advice on how it should be done. And he's done nothing more than play Call of Duty, right? What you want to do is, frame that question, or frame an issue and present it to him. Well, present him the issue and say, hey, look, I noticed that you, it seems like you know a lot about CQB techniques. Do you mind showing us how to safely clear the room number A7 or whatever it is? You might showing us how, because I really prefer not to watch YouTube and use it as a training tool. I prefer for somebody to actually show me in real life, because that's the way that I learn. And that's the most polite way that with allowing this person to save face, right? Without disrespecting that person. That's what I'll ask. And then this person, again, this person might be very hesitant to do it. They might come up with excuses like, oh, hey, you know what? I forgot the blue guns. I forgot the red guns. I forgot the airsoft. It's kind of hard for me to like show you right now, but give me tomorrow, right? And I'll show it to you. Well, first off, you can use your pistol fingers, right, to show CQB. You can show footwork. You can show movement, and without the use of any type of red gun or blue gun. So that's already a cop out that they don't even know what they're doing. And then if that's the case, I would say, hey, you know what? I see that you mentioned like you need to have you want to show us the red guns, show us these techniques with the red guns or the blue guns. But is it possible to do this with just like your fingers, like finger guns? And see what kind of response that you get. Now, what you might get is the know-it-all, the person that is actually so dumb that they're going to demonstrate a bad technique in front of everybody. And you might get those people. I think the best way is probably getting somebody that knows what they're doing, that will contradict their technique. But I think the gravedigger here would be like, okay, your footwork demonstrates this position. I'm just curious on why you're showing us this position. Like, why is it more safer? Or don't even give them a way out. Just say, why do you do it this way? And then when they show you another technique, then you say, hey, why? So what's the difference between this technique and the other technique? Or what are the pros and cons of this technique over the other technique? The person that really doesn't know what they're doing, that is high opinion and low output, won't even be able to explain why. And you'll get a lot of people, especially on the range. You get again you get a lot of gun guys, and they'll demonstrate a technique. Well, first off, if you're not able to demonstrate a technique in front of a class full of like 20 people or 5 people or 10 people, if you can't demonstrate or explain the why, you have no business in being a firearm instructor. Same thing with a baton instructor. Same thing with a arrest and control instructor, a handcuffing instructor, you name it. If you can't explain the technique, you have absolutely no business teaching others, because a teacher is able to articulate what they're doing. So that's one of the ways that you can challenge these people in the workplace that are high opinion, low input individuals. There is so many of them. Now, if you are a supervisor, you're a manager, you call yourself a leader. Well, you can't call yourself a leader, but those who you lead define you as such. But anyhow, if you're somebody of that influence, and you have these people that are high opinion, low output individuals, I think the best way on growing those individuals, right? Because we're not there to destroy them. We're not there to make fun of them. We are there to empower them as much as possible. And maybe they don't understand that they are a low output individual. So what you do is you have them demonstrate a technique, have them explain a policy in their own words, right? Because the high opinion, low input individuals can recite a case law, a case study, a criminal code, a civil code. They can recite it, maybe even verbatim. But they are not able to articulate each of the elements of the crime or the case law. They can't, because it falls outside their comfort zone. So give them these assignments. I think once you give them these assignments of giving like a 2-minute lecture or a 2-minute teach back on something, I think it's at that time when they're actually teaching something or trying to teach something, they're going to realize, you know what, this whole time I've been a high opinion, low output individual. I need to get some training, or I need to shut up. So again, these are just things to keep in mind. In all the instructor schools in which I teach, and I hate to say I teach, I'm more of a facilitator. The class teaches the class, and I'm just there to facilitate this discussion. If you're in that position, you're not the high opinion individual, low input. what makes you high output or low output, what makes you high output is your ability to facilitate that discussion at any instructor level's course. And that's what I'm starting to notice, because I'm teaching more of these instructor level courses, is I don't have to have superior knowledge. I have to have a lot of knowledge, but I don't need to have more knowledge than you or you. All I have to know is how to facilitate discussion and how to facilitate learning. And I think these become the best leaders of all. Now, about critical incidents, last night I was in charge of, 50 to 60 people, maybe 7 different law enforcement agencies. Somebody did something very horrible, and it led to a critical incident, a massive manhunt. And whenever you get law enforcement that are responding to the scene, who do they go to first? Well, they go to the incident commander, right? Part of what I do and something I preach is lead by example. So, I raise my hand. I'm in command of the situation. Wherever you're coming from, you come to me. And if there's something that I couldn't handle, I assigned it basically that management position to a secondary incident commander, and it actually worked out great. But one of the issues that we were having is, again, there's too many people. When you get too many people, and I'm talking about like multiple SWAT teams, you get a lot of type A personalities in law enforcement, and some people want to just individualize their effort to go looking for this bad person, right? So they break off from their team and they just do their individual searches. And if you have ever trained in active shooter events, you have to train and be able to teach those individuals that like to go individual. They like to create an individual objective, and it is really a team effort. In law enforcement, again, you get a lot of type A personalities. I was talking to David from the Private Security Journal on the DM on Instagram. I'm under the firearms trainer under Instagram, by the way. And I think he, in his perspective, which is, I think it's a rather subjective perspective, law enforcement is arrogant, right? And I do agree to a large degree. You get a lot of arrogant officers that are trying to go their own way. But my suggestion to you guys, from the security perspective or law enforcement corrections, when you need to individualize, you need to create a team effort, or you need to break down an objective of the mission. The objective is to locate this very bad person. You can assign team leaders or ask for volunteers. Like, hey, like you're standing in front of 50, right? And you got to have, guys, if you don't have that command of presence, nobody's going to want to walk behind you. Like when you're in the stack, you're doing point, or you're leading an operation. If you're looking in back of you, you should have a team behind you. If you don't, you have issues. So what I like to do is I'll ask for volunteers. Like, hey, I need 5 team leaders right now. Raise your hand. And we hope that those who believe that they're up to par, that they're true leaders, they raise their hands, and they will. They raise their hands and they'll say, I'll take charge of this. And then you have that person select 5 different officers or team members, right? And then you tell that group, hey, I need you to search these streets, right? Or get this, or divide a huge city block into 4s or 6s or 8s. Hey, you got block number 7 or block number 8 or block number 9. But that's what you'll do, is you'll assign responsibilities and you'll hold that team leader accountable. And what you probably want to do, so for us, we don't have really good interoperability with federal law enforcement, right? We can't just change frequencies and connect to the other agency. So what you want to do is assign somebody from your agency to that team, right? So that you can have communication. You can also use cell phones if you want. Probably not ideal. I like to have just the direct to talk features, like on a walkie-talkie. Can we call them walkie-talkie? Topic of another story. Okay. Um, and also keep in mind that some teams have like different SOPs. But look, guys, I think that's the best route is to ask for leaders or ask, hey, who wants to be in charge or who is in charge of one of our teams or who wants to take charge of one of the teams here. And every person who is of rank should raise their hand like automatically. The thing is, like, you just don't know. When you got like 50 people standing in front of you, yeah, you could check the chevrons, the stars, and the stripes, but in like near total darkness, it's kind of hard. Now, if you're in private security and you're wondering, like, Sean, come on, like, when is law enforcement going to ask me to be in their stack or ask me to be in their search? I'll give you a perfect example. Active shooter, right? You know, you have a couple of teams rushing in there, right? You have two sworn police officers, right? And then you have a security officer, right? I think that team of 3 is enough. I really think the team of 1 is enough. But if you have to, okay, I got my team of 3. Now, if you're in private security, you're wondering, well, what's that team member going to do? Well, that team member serves as an extra eye and ear, and that security officer can communicate with other security officers on the objectives, any observations that they make. Like maybe the other security officers that are en route. I know that there's large patrol companies out there in different regions of California. You guys' fleet, some of the fleets are easy 20 patrol officers in one night, right? Maybe there's a property that is involving itself in some critical incident. Maybe there might be a huge business loss, right? Can we divert all of our 20 patrol officers to that? On the private sector side, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because now you're potentially ghosting an account, which is something that's unethical. Basically, you just don't bill the client and you explain what happened. I think they're decent clients would understand, but in reality, you're not going to get all 20 security officers helping. Maybe you might get all the supervisors that might jump in, which is a reason why a lot of security companies like to train their supervisors on incident command system, tactics, tactical entry, you name it. All right, guys, enough of me talking. Let me just go through the comments. Professional Security Journals here. Welcome, sir. Randy's here. Welcome. Randy Nunez says HMR1 actual on station, I see. HMR1? I don't know what that is, Randy. Sorry. Russian American Patriot says, hey, Russian guy in Louisiana here. Today, got partner on patrol. Today, Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Russian American Patriot. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Primary Security Agency. Hopefully we'll... Actually, I got one of the classes approved, so hopefully we'll be meeting pretty soon. Randy Nunez says, all Amazon product on the links have been heavily tested. I assure you. I got to be careful on what I put out there because Randy is my most biggest critic. I mean, if I put out there junk, he'll tell me like, hey, come on, dude, that's junk. I wouldn't advertise for that. So if you go to my website, crimebullet.com, www.crimebullt.com, go under the product reviews. I don't have a lot of products over there because I'm really selective on what I put on there. And there's so much more. Check this out. So this is a thermostat for my car. We're at 83 degrees. And then that's the voltage meter, I guess. Because I'm telling you, I have this little gadget because in the desert, my car battery runs out like after like a year and a half. I have to get a new one, and they're supposed to be good for like 5 years. So I'll probably give it a couple months, and then I might put it up there, but maybe not. I don't know. Mike says, ha ha ha, oh boy, Sean knows I've been dealing with this a ton. And that's with arrogant law enforcement. Garlady, Goobly, how is Allied Universal allowed to have a PPO license in California if they're LLC? That's the topic of another story. Last night, wait a minute. The other night, I found 245 private patrol operator licenses that were issued under an LLC. And we'll talk about that another day. I cover this every year. You cannot form a security company under an LLC in the state of California. And once again, I'll revisit that. I talk about it extensively in my book, The Private Patrol Operator, 3rd edition, which will be available sometime in January of 2025. X says, that's why I love boxing, Muay Thai, and grappling. We'll know if you're qualified. Yeah, there you go. Not this theoretical crap that applies to different scenarios. Thank you. And X, we call this a Rolodex technique. Law enforcement, security, corrections, we're taught if this happens, then you do that. Like, no, it doesn't happen all the time. Like, your technique's not going to work all the time. So thank you for mentioning that. Mike from Security Journal says, I had to teach somebody the basics of handcuffing. He said his cuffs were stuck and wouldn't move. Double locked. He didn't even know how to work a key. Yeah, it happens. Primary security agency sounds like most retired LEA guys I work with. Sorry. All talk, but never willing to show what they know. Yep. They just want to talk about how they were experts in the 30 years experience. I know. Garla D says, I'm getting my PPO license, starting my security company in Texas, but I want to expand in California. How would I do this? Get a branch office in California and assign a qualified manager in California. Keep all your records in California. Yeah, I know, Mike, I know they just want to puff their chest and their ego. Slander says, what's up, Arizona? What's going on? Kenny says, by the time you'll get a grasp on it, you'll promote again and have to start learning all over it and will continue your whole career. TB says, that's true. What's up? Russian American says, hi, that was pretty. Joel says, if the cops take your gun, can you get it back? Josh says, depends. Joel, my buddy's still waiting for his. Been months. So since we have quite a bit of people, let me discuss that. So the question is, why did a cop take away your gun? Did you shoot somebody? Like, what happened? If this is a criminal case, okay, this is a criminal incident, you're gonna get it back maybe when the case is adjudicated. If you've been cleared. Now, there's some states that will clear you pretty damn quick in maybe a matter of weeks. You might get a letter, maybe not a letter from his office saying that there's not enough problem to charge so-and-so with any type of crime. This case is closed, something to that effect. And then the custodian of your gun will give you instructions on how to get your gun back, and you might have to go through some like background check. One day I'm going to explain these situations a lot better, but I'm live and I don't want to say anything unnecessary while I'm on YouTube live. Okay. Angel from the Primary Security Training Division says basically, like, these 30-year veterans in law enforcement, all they do is talk about their experience. Hey guys, so if you're in law enforcement, and I'm reaching out to you guys directly, or corrections, nobody cares about what you used to do. Nobody cares. I don't care. You shouldn't care. Nobody cares. What we care about is, what are you willing to do now? I know that there's a lot of law enforcement that are retired, and their like security job is like their like vacation job or their kickback job. You should still do, or you should still give it 100%. You should give it the same effort than anybody else. Now, same effort doesn't mean you go out there and start, checking people's pockets all over the place, slapping handcuffs on everybody. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about is basically meeting the standards and basically meeting the culture of the security agency. There's a saying in law enforcement that some officers are retired on duty, meaning they retired 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and that holds a lot of truth. And what that refers to is they're lazy, they're not willing to train others, and they're withdrawn from the job. If that is you, leave as soon as you're eligible. because that behavior is toxic and it's contagious. I've been on patrol teams in law enforcement and security. When you get one salty person that has been there like in law enforcement a lot of years, even security, and that person has a negative outtake of life, they give everybody negative vibes about private security, that behavior is contagious. That new guy who's like 18 years old, or gal, 18 years old, that's just starting in security, that's looking for a mentor, they're going to hate security. They're going to hate their mentor or their trainer because that person's awful and is not a positive influence. If you are in management, especially security, look out for these people, guys. And if you can, like, try to select a post or assignment that complements their outlook on life. And there's not a lot. There's not a lot. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you could find them work where they're looking at a monitor, not interacting with people. Maybe you could find them a security job where like there's like a small room and nobody's supposed to go back there, and they could just, I don't know, prop the chair against the door with their back facing the door, and if somebody opens it, they wake up. I mean, I'm just saying, I know that you guys that run security companies are saying like, Sean, what the hell are you suggesting? I'm just saying that there's an assignment for everybody. So find something. If you can't, then it's time to document them. Document. You documenting them to discharge them later, which is like one of the worst things that you can do as a security manager. Short term, but long term, it's the best solution for the entire organization. All right, guys, so that's all I got. I'm looking forward to your comments, the dialogue, and I want to know, do you have any high opinion, low output individuals in your workforce? What type of work do you do? And how do you deal with these individuals? Do you have any suggestions for anybody else? All right, guys, take care, and I'm out.